Good morning, everyone. My name is Lauren Blevins, and I am Manager Strategic Marketing Projects here at Effective. I'm also Co-DE&I Director for the WIC Network Greater Philadelphia chapter. I'm here today joined by Alicia Daugherty and Julie Rohmer to talk about the benefits of mentorship. It's such a hot topic right now, and I am so excited to have these two leaders in the space come and share their wisdom with us. And so first, would love to start off with having you ladies introduce yourselves. So Alicia, why don't you start?
Hi, good morning. So happy to be here. I'm Alicia Daugherty. I'm a leadership and executive coach, and in earlier part of my career, spent many years at Comcast and also was very active in the WIC Network Philadelphia chapter. I do run a private practice. I also work with a consulting firm, and one of the best parts of my job is the work that I do in partnership with Julie Rohmer in some group coaching as well as mentoring programs. So we're really excited to be here today. Julie?
Yes, hi everybody. So I'm Julie Rohmer. My story is somewhat similar to Alicia's. I am a certified executive and leadership coach. 30 years in the corporate world. The last 20 of those 30 years were actually with Comcast as an executive. Very heavily involved in the WIC Philadelphia chapter, similar to Alicia. Played a number of different roles, both as mentee, mentor. I was on the board for a couple of years. I was a Betsy Magnus graduate. One of the best experiences of my career, and one of the key reasons I am on the path I'm on as a coach. But similar to what Alicia said, still very involved in WIC in terms of leading these mentoring programs, which is why I think we were asked to come to speak with you today in terms of talking about why mentoring is so important and what are the benefits both as a mentee as well as benefits for a mentor. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Lauren.
Perfect. Well, Julie, Alicia, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm just going to jump right into it because I think this is such a meaty discussion and we've got a lot here to tackle. So, and question is for both of you to answer, but how would you explain the difference between coaching, mentoring, and sponsorship to someone who might just be starting their career journey or maybe never understood the difference between those things?
So I'll start, and Julie, of course, jump in. So I think the thing that most of us are probably most familiar with is mentoring, and that mentoring relationship is generally someone more senior in the organization, more seasoned, more experienced, partnering with someone who's a bit more junior to provide kind of guidance, lessons learned, support in their development, and doing that from a place of being an expert either in a functional area or maybe a particular type of leadership. And so that's a relationship that's sort of collaborative, and both parties are, we'll say, invested in the outcome. Both of them are looking for the mentee to grow and develop in certain ways. A coaching relationship, the coach is really, we'll say, disconnected from the outcome. So the coach supports the client in whatever it is they want to work on. It could be, professional challenges, personal challenges. It could be, styles of leadership, things they want to develop, but really focusing on the wisdom that's within the client, helping the client get to know themselves, come up with their own solutions. So a coach generally isn't offering suggestions or insights or our own experience. We're really focused on what's within the client and how do we bring that out.
Julie, let's go to you.
So from a coaching, so we talked about mentoring, we talked about coaching a little bit, sponsorship. Now where sponsorship even differs a little bit is in terms of the role that the sponsor plays. So where the mentor is about giving the advice, giving the guidance, who's someone who's been there, done that. Sponsor, the key role of a sponsor is an advocate. It's somebody who is going to be at the table really singing your praises, representing you, and really pulling you along. So the sponsor really is about helping to identify who the high performers are in the organization and really tapping them to help them shepherd their career. So all roles, coach, mentor, sponsor, all key, but each role is a little bit different, and each process that each individual playing those roles plays is a little bit different.
Love that. Love that. Could you talk to us a little bit about the difference between informal and formal mentorship? Because there's a difference, but I'm not sure that everyone understands that, and would love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah. Well, why don't I take this one and then toss it over to Alicia. So similar to what Alicia said, I think out of those three, the coaching, mentoring, sponsorship, the one that people are most familiar with is probably the mentoring. And a lot of these organizations, especially associated with WIC and some of the cable and telecommunications organizations, they have the employee resource groups, the ERGs, where there's a little bit more of a formal mentor program where people can apply to it, their structure. There is a little bit more of tied to a program and the outcome. And it's really, when I say formal, it's you're assigned a mentor or you're assigned a mentoring circle, a group of people that you're going to be going through the program with. Informal is really organically how it happens over time. It's how, through your career, you start to see a leader that you can identify with and say, I love their story. I love their journey. I love their style. I want to learn from them. And it doesn't even have to be, can you be my mentor? It can be you build the relationship and you don't even realize that really how you define it is an informal mentor-mentee relationship, because it's all about learning from that individual. And again, back to the role of the mentor, it's giving that advice, giving the guidance. If that's what's happening, that's an informal relationship. Alicia, what would you add?
Yeah, I think you're spot on, Julie. And the other thing, the way I think about it is we tend to think of mentor as a singular, but I think you can have mentors in a number of different aspects of your work and your life. So, you would potentially look at someone who's in a role that you aspire to and say, I'd love to learn more about how to get to that. That can be a great mentoring relationship. It could be someone in a completely different environment, but their leadership style just really resonates or is something you want to emulate, sort of, get to know them. It could be someone more junior in the organization who has a skill set that you are curious about or really want to acquire. And, those, if you look around, those mentoring relationships are all over the place. It really is about someone who you can learn something from, who is willing to invest some time. And again, whether that's a formal will you mentor me in, or someone who simply responds and helps. Mentors come in all kind of roles, sizes, shapes, and there's space for all of it. So if you get matched with a mentor, capital M, in a mentoring program, you can still, work and find different mentors to help fill in the different gaps that you're looking to fill.
And Lauren, can I add one thing too? One thing that you said that triggered a thought, Alicia, is it's not singular. You can have multiple mentors at the same time and over your career. And I think one of the things too another really important topic that a lot of people are talking about is networking. How do you network? Your mentors can span your career, but keeping that network and that connection, even to someone who was your mentor very early on in your career, it's pivotal. It's about keeping that relationship going, and you can go a long time without even having talked to that mentor, but you have had that established relationship, which makes it easier for you to reach back out and can reconnect. So just wanted to add that because it was a thought that came to my mind.
And, when I think about the WIC network, we have a really robust mentorship program. I mean, you all have, been partnered with us on this, been through a lot of transitions. And, when I think about some of our programs, we've done one-on-one, we've done mentoring circles. Would love to get you ladies' opinion on which of these you maybe prefer or find the greatest success with. So Alicia, why don't you start?
Sure. I love both, I'll be honest with you. And I was a mentor in the WIC programs for several years as an individual one-on-one, and find that, just sort of developing that relationship, that connection, really being invested in helping my mentee achieve his or her goals, was very rewarding. And I'll be very honest, when I first heard about mentoring circles, I thought, ooh, how does that work? Because I couldn't understand, how does that kind of somewhat intimate relationship really get created in a group setting. And when I did sign up to be a mentor in a mentoring circle a few years ago, I loved it. It's such a great, and it is a different experience, but in a lot of ways, it's so much richer. So, for example, a participant in a mentoring circle has generally, and at least in our case, the way we run our program, a couple of mentors. So you're not just learning one-on-one, you're learning from a couple of seasoned leaders. And importantly, you have the opportunity to learn from your peers. And so learning to mentor each other it sort of amplifies that learning and then creates great mentors in the future because you've had experience mentoring your partners. The other thing is the connections that are built, having that cohort, group that you're learning with and maintaining those connections. Again, it just sort of exponentially amplifies the opportunity for learning and growth ongoing beyond the duration of the program that you're in.
Yeah, and there's not much more for me to add to that because I wholeheartedly agree with everything that Alicia's saying, is that both are great. And the one thing that I would say is it doesn't need to be an either or. So one of the other things that we encourage as in the programs that we've been running is, yes, we've established it as a mentoring circle, but we've also encouraged, if there is the ability, the availability from a timing perspective for one-on-one coaching to be between the mentor and the mentee, even the mentee to mentee. So there is an aspect of weaving it all together if you can.
We often talk about the benefits of mentorship. However, would love to get you ladies' opinion on the benefits of being a mentor. And so, Julie, why don't you start?
Sure. I think there is a lot of people who resonate at a level of just wanting to help others, wanting to support others, bring them up, along with them in their career. This is an easy way for somebody to be able to do that. So it's an easy way to do it. The benefits that an individual as a mentor, just the feelings, it's the emotions, it's the being able to help others. And a lot of the times too, as an individual, you get excited to be able to tell your own story. You get excited for somebody to be shaking their head and saying, yep, I resonate with that. And it's personally, it's a way to boost a mentor's confidence in terms of, hey, I have done that, or I haven't even talked about that. That happened in my career 20 years ago. I haven't talked about that in a long time. And so it brings up different energy levels, different excitements, different confidence for the mentor themselves.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with all that. A huge part of it is just that feeling of being of service and supporting someone in their career growth and professional development. Another piece of it is just, expanding your own network. So I've had a number of people who have been mentees of mine in one program or another who have gone on to roles where they've actually been very helpful to me. Likewise, if you get to kind of know this broader group of people and have an eye for that talent, another colleague might have an opportunity where you say, I've got the perfect person that could really be a good fit for that. Let me introduce you. So just anything that expands that network in all directions, I think just enriches the experience and provides opportunities down the road that you may not even anticipate. And in Julie's and my case, we, for many years as Comcasters, we were mentors in different programs. We've developed that network. In many cases, those relationships have helped us grow our business. It's been connections that have been helpful to us in our new careers. And so I think there are just a number of different levels where being a mentor really provides value easily as much as being a mentee.
What should someone look for in a mentor relationship?
So I'll start. I think really pinpointing what am I looking, number one, what am I looking for? And then where are the best places to find that? So it's almost sort of like looking at the what not to do. If you're seeking someone simply for their title, you're probably, it could be hit or miss. But if you're really seeking someone who has an experience that you would like to have, or someone who demonstrates a style or a set of competencies that you really want to develop, understanding the why, what's important here. Certainly there's an element of connection, feeling that it's someone that you can confide in, can talk to, and would enjoy spending time with, that you really feel is supportive and a partner, versus someone who it feels like I got to schedule this, or feels intimidating in some way. So for me, it's that understanding the why and really having that chemistry. Julie, what would you add?
Well, you know what, you hit on the most of it there. Just to kind of expand on the question a little bit and tie it with your response, Alicia, is, what is the role of the mentee? And the mentee really needs to take the lead in the relationship between the mentor and the mentee. And it goes back to what Alicia was saying in terms of being clear about what you want to get out of the relationship, and being the one to take the lead, to initiate the discussions, or come prepared into the discussion to say, hey, this is what I want to talk about today. So part of it is, I know the question, Lauren, you asked in terms of what do you look for in a mentor? It is somebody, as Alicia said, in terms of that chemistry, that connection, but it's somebody who you do also feel comfortable with, that in terms of taking the lead and driving the conversations and the discussions in the relationship going forward.
Love that. Love that. And sorry, I know I said that was the final question, but this is now the final question. I feel like I'd be remiss if I didn't ask, can you ladies talk to me about maybe your favorite mentor experience, whether it was you yourself as a mentee or as a mentor?
You know what, I'll take this one, and I am not trying to win brownie points here, but it was funny, like in preparation for knowing that we were going to be talking to you today, it brought back memories of when I was a mentee through the WICT program. I was a senior director, and a lot of people, when I first, came to the kickoff meeting, people would say, you're a senior director, why are you a mentee? I had never been through a formal mentoring program. So back to your earlier question, informal, formal. I had never been through a formal mentoring program, and I wanted to experience it from that perspective. And the WICT teamed me up with the VP of legal, and the two of us, I had the best experience. And then I think it was maybe 2 or 3 years later, Jen Heller and I were asked to come back and do an interview to kind of say, what did we learn from that experience? The two of us were so different in terms of our experience, our style, yet we both learned different parts about the organization, different people in the organization. And to this day, I think this is now probably 9 years later, we're still in touch with each other. Not often, but it's like every once in a while we will throw up a text message or a message through LinkedIn. So that to me sticks out as a great experience all the way around.
So I'm actually going to share too, as soon as you asked your question, my mind immediately went to like a negative mentoring experience. And I'll share that because it was sort of the first one, and it could have put me off mentoring. And it was in a different organization, and I was, sort of on the hypo path in my career, and a senior leader who was, looking at my development said, you need a mentor, and it's going to be, and they named a person. I don't know whether that person had signed up for that or if they just, and that sort of, it was like this arranged marriage sort of thing. There really wasn't a lot of chemistry. It was a little bit awkward for both of us. I didn't feel like this person was necessarily invested, and yet he did show up and have the meetings, but it just felt really inorganic. It felt really forced. And I didn't know enough at the time to just be able to say, this isn't working for me. So we kind of plodded along, and ultimately, finally, I changed roles or something happened and we could put this thing to bed. But it was weird. And so that's where, for me, the chemistry is so important. For me, the best was the first time someone approached me and said, would you be willing to mentor me? Because I know from where I sat, that can be a very scary thing to do. But it was so incredibly flattering. And this person was able to articulate what it was about me that called them beyond just my title. And it was a great relationship. So I know if you think about wanting a mentor, that how do I ask can be really scary, but simply saying, I see this in you, or you have this experience, or whatever is the thing, the why, and simply asking, most people, A, going to be really flattered, and B, really happy to help.
I love that. I love that. Well, Alicia, Julie, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us. And most importantly, thank you for everything that you do and continue to do for the WIC Network Greater Philadelphia. That's all of our time today, and we will talk again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, ladies.